Hi guys, Ahmed here from Vital Educators, as usual. Mahi Baloch, finally, you have shown up to one of my lives. Very kind of you. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Where is my? Oh, there it is. No, there isn't. Where's my pen? I was making notes. Okay, I guess it's not here. Anyway, how was your day, boys? How was your day, people? I hope your day was good. I hope you did some interesting stuff. Tell me, Mahi, how was your day? What did you do today? How was the 5 kilometer run? Ali, how's it going, buddy? How's it going? You okay? Am I too dark? I just wonder. Maybe I am really dark. Let's see. Okay, I think this is not too bad. This is actually all right. I look dark, but maybe because I am dark. Ah, that's perfect. Okay, today's topic is on communication. So, what we're going to talk about is complete communication, how we should come across, what do we need to do more in order to be more effective communicators. Because what's one of the things that I realize is people always focus on skills, like practical skills, like video editing or calligraphy, like actual skills. But a lot of us don't actually focus on the idea or the way we come across, the way we communicate with other people. So I think that's very, very important for us to recognize and take notice when we're communicating how we're coming across. So it's one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about because it's one of the things I genuinely enjoy. So yeah, today's topic is on communication. You wouldn't believe what I'm doing right now. So I've got Instagram live right now over here. I've got YouTube right over there. So I'm online on YouTube today as well. I just wanted to see how that works out, and I'm also on online on Instagram as well. I mean on Facebook as well. So I'm doing three different lives at one time. I'm trying to see what kind of response I get, as in what happens when I'm doing this. Presumably, one time I'll probably do a live on TikTok too. So I'll do like loads of lives, one on TikTok, one on. But I just want to encompass that all at once. So I just wanted to try what does it feel like to be online on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time, and what kind of responses do I normally get. So until Sarah, my assistant, until she says I can start, I won't start. So, Sarah, can I start? Tell me, please. Otherwise, I won't start, basically. Maybe I don't know what happens after finish streaming. Does that have some sort of an effect? I need to study streaming a lot more. I mean, tomorrow maybe I can come again and we can just talk. We can just stick to Sarah. Stay on one. Either be on Facebook or on Instagram. I'm really confused. Where are you doing the third live? On my. What do you mean? Where on YouTube? So I thought it'd be a good idea for me to go on YouTube live. So I'm doing YouTube live as well at the moment. I think. Okay. I think please don't do. Sarah, just stop, okay? Just tell me that I can start on Facebook, so I can start on Facebook. As in I can start like talking, because there's no point in me not talking, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to give value. So people who are listening are waiting for us to start or for me to start. So tell me when to start, please. Ali, how was your day? What did you do today? Ali, how was your day, man? How's it going? Anybody, everybody, whoever's there? Sarah, shall I start or shall I not start? Today's topic is on communication, how we can become more effective communicators, and why is communication important. So I'll break everything. Internet is getting stuck. Is it from your side or is it from my side or yours? Okay, let me check. Okay, so I've checked. Mine isn't connected to my Wi-Fi. So normally my Wi-Fi gives me trouble. So it's not connected to my Wi-Fi, which means my internet is absolutely perfect. So right now I don't think I have any problems with my internet. My day was okay, bit busy. Okay, looks like you had an eventful time. Looks like you really enjoyed yourself by being a bit busy. I've been extremely busy. This TikTok life is making me go crazy. TikTok is ridiculous. I don't even understand like how things work. I had to sit down and really learn loads of things. I feel like a child. Like I feel like I don't know anything. I feel like really old because TikTok is like right over my head. Like it's really difficult for me to fully grasp the capacity of TikTok. It's really weird platform to be on, but I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna post as much as I can. It's super difficult. Just a moment, I'll join you on Facebook. Just a moment, I'll join you on Facebook. Yeah, Ali, I'm on TikTok as well now. Yes, I decided to post what am I posting on my travel videos? I've got loads of pictures, and now I feel like I don't want to post those pictures on Instagram. Well, I will post them on Instagram eventually, but I want to use them to like tell people that they can travel and they can really benefit themselves by traveling. Because I think what traveling has taught me as a human being, I don't think I've learned any more lessons from anybody else. I've realized by listening to different people while I'm traveling, understanding different cultures, and really effectively um, understanding different people's perspectives have really allowed me to expand my horizons. We'll watch there too. I'm not doing a live on TikTok right now. I will do it at some point, but right now I'm not doing a live. But my TikTok is again the same as my Instagram, so I'll put it down if you're asking. Vital Educator. I don't know how to pin this comment. Oops. See, oh, okay, I can show you. I can actually show you guys. Look at this. Look, there I am. And these are all the tabs that I've opened. That's Facebook and that's YouTube right now. So I'm doing all three at once, in case you were wondering. So yeah, awesome, Sarah. So let's begin. Okay, we're going to talk about communication today. Communication is, from my side, it's one of the most important aspects of anyone's life. I see so many people. I see so many aspects of people's lives being affected because of lack of communication or because of ineffective communication. So people don't really put emphasis on this type of skill because people think that if they can speak because they have it's like that is something that is second handed because you've always spoken in your whole life. You don't think of speaking as a skill. But once you realize that speaking becomes an incredibly effective skill, something that is absolutely paramount, something that is absolutely necessary for your personal growth. And not just for your personal growth, but also to have impact on everybody's life. So today, I thought it would be a good idea for me to talk about how effective communication, what effective communication is, and why do we need to effectively communicate? How can we effectively communicate? And by communicating effectively, what kind of impact we have on other people? Okay, so that's why it's very, very important how we formulate our sentences. There's loads of aspects of communication that we need to become a part of. We need to understand. And the one that I really bounce off of, the one that I really enjoy, the one that I really say that I need your help on is feedback. So whatever I say to you, I would expect you to kindly respond back and talk to me, because just by talking, I get some sort of an idea as to how I can become a more effective communicator, and how and that's the whole idea. By getting my point across, by talking to you people, I get the motion, I get the ideology that this is having an impact on you. So the best way to communicate is to have a response. And if I can get a response from you, that means I'm doing my job well. That means I am becoming an effective communicator. And that's why communication is extremely, extremely important from a lot of the aspects. So I've written a lot of these aspects down, but communication actually depends on five main ingredients. Number one is clarity, how clear you are. Okay, always remember there's a saying that says clarity breeds mastery. Clarity breeds mastery. So how clear you are in terms of your communication, more masterful you are in a certain subject, whatever that subject is. And being clear is, so I can say, how should I? What could be a very good example of clarity? An example of clarity would be that if I say to you that there is something in your cells called DNA. Okay, if I say that to you, there's something in your cells called DNA. You would be like, I don't know what this guy means. I'm not being very clear when I'm communicating this. When I'm saying all this, I'm not being very clear. I'm very sporadic. I'm very up and down with this, right? So I'm not effective when I'm talking. Okay, so DNA would you not be able to understand. But if I say to you, there is there is there is a molecule in your cells that is able to that is able to bind with one another. They have two strands that are able to bind, that contains literally who you are. So that same molecule contains who you are as a human being. Okay, so that molecule is a plan of the type of person you are and the type of person you can actually become. That is a better way of me to for me to communicate with you. That is a better way for me to talk to you. That is a better way for you to understand what I'm saying to you. Okay, that's why communication is extremely important. So that's the first part. So first part is clarity. The second part is brevity. Now brevity is how quickly you get to a point. How quickly do you make your point? So if I'm telling a story and a story goes really really long and I'm not able to get to the point, you will lose interest. So if you lose interest, that means I'm not an effective communicator. What? Okay, Somia, nice to meet you. Seifu, thank you. Nice to meet you. Glad that you're here. What's going on here? I'm just giving a talk on communication, how we can all be an effective communicator. And that's one of the most integral parts of our lives and how important we can be. You missed the beginning. No problem. I'm not going to start, but I've just started anyway. Slang affects the clarity. So to be honest with you, no, depends on who you're talking to. So your audience is affected. What you're saying. So say through. So let me ask. So let me say what I was going to say. So communication is one of the most important aspects of anyone's life. Okay, so there's so many confusions, there's so much miscommunication with people because they're not able to get their point across. So that's one of the more important aspects of life that we need to focus on in order for us to grow for our personal development. It's one of the most important skills that always goes overseen because we never really emphasize on our art of communication. So that's what I'm talking about today. Okay, and your communication is actually dependent on five main points. Okay, if you master these five things, you're able to communicate effectively. The first part is clarity, how clear you are when you're talking, how easily you can be heard. So whenever I'm talking to you, the words that are coming out of my mouth, how much of this is making sense to you. Okay, that's clarity. So always remember, clarity breeds mastery. So more clear you are, more masterful you become of a subject. So if you want to communicate something, you have to be very very clear. Okay, that's the first part. um, Ali says, does using slangs affects clarity? So Ali, depends on who you're talking to. If I'm talking to an audience here that can understand the slangs, then I am being clear to them. So it depends on who you're speaking to. So knowing your audience is extremely important. Okay, knowing the age group, the people that you're talking to is very important. For example, you go up to your father, you're not going to be like, "Oi, dad, how's life?" You're not going to say that to because your father demands respect. He's elder. So therefore, if you're speaking to somebody who's older than you, you need to speak in a different way because every single person that you speak to requires different level of communication. So that's why it requires different level of clarity because your clarity can diminish as much as you speak, basically. So the next point that I want after clarity was brevity. How quickly you get to the point. So when you're talking, yes, it's important to be clear, but how quickly you get to the end. Because we human beings, as human beings, we're very, very restless. We want to get to the end as quickly as possible. I give you an example. I watch YouTube videos and I always speed up my YouTube videos because I cannot wait. As human beings, we're very impatient. So getting to the point as quickly as I possibly can is very, very important. Okay. So that's number two. So clarity, brevity. Number three, context. So the context is very important as well. So right now I'm talking about communication, but you don't know why I'm talking about communication. So if I just start by saying, "Oh, I just want to communicate. This is the reason I just want to communicate." So you guys will listen to me and be like, "Oh, okay, this guy wants to communicate." Fine. That's not the main aim here. The main aim of communication is to put everything in context. So like I said, I have to explain why I'm communicating. I can explain why I'm communicating. So depends on how much you can wait, Sarah. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's patience is different. So if you can wait, maybe somebody else can't wait. That's why they want to get to the point as quickly as possible. There you go. So Seifu says a very good point. Says less words with more information. Okay, so less words. They always say that effective communicator does not take ages to communicate. It just takes less time and make his point like this as quickly as possible. Okay, So context, like I've said to you, so you're getting your point across, making it relevant to you. So if I'm talking to you, like I've said, I used your father, I used father as an example, I used brother as an example. So that's relevant to you. Okay, so relevance is important. Number four, impact. So as soon as I say the fact that how you speak to your dad, how you speak to your brother, you're immediately, Sophie, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate you being here in my life. Thank you so much. So your fourth point is impact. So how impactful you are whilst you're communicating. So when I'm mentioning your father, when I'm mentioning your brother, when I'm mentioning anyone in your circle, you're immediately thinking of those people. You're immediately thinking of those times when you had a communication problem with them. Okay, that's why communication is extremely important, and that's why this fourth point, having an impact, is very important. Because once I made that point, once I put everything in context, it had an impact on you and made you listen to me, because I made it relevant to you by speaking about your dad and by speaking about your brother, by speaking, making it relevant. That's very important. That's the fourth part of communication. And fifth is bringing value. So hopefully by the end of this talk, you will take value from me. Hopefully the things that I'll talk to you about, the things that I'll mention in this live right now, you will use in your life. Hopefully this will bring value to your life. Okay, so five things: clarity, brevity, context, impact, and value. These are the five main things that you need to be an effective communicator. And once you get this level of mastery in your communication, you're able to do whatever you want. And Warren Buffett, which is the one of the richest man on the planet, and he said the one skill, if I could ask for one skill, and he's an introvert. He said, if I could ask for one skill that I would master, that I could work on still to this day, is communication. Because the way you communicate, your business deals are done in communication. Your relationships are managed by communication. Your sales process all managed in communication. How you do your job interviews all managed in communication. How you convince someone all managed on communication. So everything depends on how you effectively communicate with one person or another. So becoming an effective communicator is troublingly important. People don't really understand that, because and that's another issue as well, that whenever we are challenged to become an effective communicator, we always take a back step. We always stop ourselves. We don't do anything. Body language or face language. Body language or face language. I wonder what do you mean by that, Saifu Banali? I don't know what that means. Can you please explain what you mean by body language or face language? I think both are important. Just even look at this. God has given me eyebrows. God has given me cheeks. He's given me mouth. So everything I'm saying right now is having an impact. My facial expressions are also a form of communication. My hand gestures also a form of communication. So everything is extremely important. So when you're getting your point across, how effective you can be depends on how you're coming across while you're speaking. And speaking isn't the only thing that is required in communication, it's also listening. So that's why I talked about the fifth point, that is value. Value requires you to listen to what I'm saying. Okay, it requires your listening skills. So if you can listen to me properly, that means that you are a good communicator. But if you can't understand my what I'm saying properly, right, that could mean two things: a, I'm not speaking well, which means that you're not understanding what I'm saying, or b, that I am speaking well but you're not understanding what I'm saying. Some people just don't understand. Probably, Sarah, they don't understand because of the language, possibly because I speak English and think some of you guys speak French or Arabic. So I think you guys are doing whatever you're doing, but like that's the only languages I wish I could speak any other language. I know I'll work on this. Okay, I'll become a better communicator by learning more languages. That's another way you could do that. So next question becomes, the question then becomes, I spoke to you about these five things. Yeah, I spoke to you about these five things. What is the how much of each do I need in when I talk? How much of clarity? How clear do I need to be? How quickly do I need to get to my point? How compact, or what's the context I need to use when I'm talking? Or how much impact I'm having on someone? Or how much value am I bringing? What does it depend on? It depends on the type of people I'm speaking to. It depends on you. So it depends on my audience. So like I said to you before, if I was speaking to little children, I know they have a small attention span, so I need to get to my point quickly. Okay, so I need to tell them what they need to know. Okay, but if I'm speaking to somebody really old who's very slow to understand what I'm saying, I may have to repeat myself over and over again. So it depends on what kind of audience you're speaking to, and preparing yourself before you're about to speak, or before you're about to communicate to someone, is very, very important. If you know your parents are short tempered, whatever you're going to go to them, they're going to get angry at you. It's very good to prepare your mind beforehand. It's and then communicate to them in a much more effective way. Oh, about the type of people. Okay, fair enough. Even if they don't understand Sarah, but it's probably, then you probably need to always analyze yourself. Don't look at anybody else. Okay, you can't change everyone. I can't change you guys. I physically can't change you. But the one thing I can do, Sarah, one thing I can definitely do is to leave even a snippet of what I'm saying in your mind, even a little in your mind. Because once I do that, it will stick. It will stay in your head, and you will use some of it. You may not use any of it, but the whole point is that it will stick to your head, and you will be able to become a better person in life. Just or even in personal development, you'd be able to have hopefully better relationships, more chance of getting a role or a job at work, higher proposals, maybe relationships or whatever. Better sales skills, so your business skills will also improve. Communication is everything. Honest to God. All right. So I also heard this talk by Evan Carmichael. He's one of the leading experts on communication. All right, and he says words have power. The types of words you use literally shapes your future. Okay, the types of word, the way you talk, literally shapes who you are as a human being. So if you're always saying, if we're using a victim language like, "Oh, my life is shit. Oh, I hate my life. Oh, I hate the weather. Oh, I hate," so any all the things that are outside of your control, if you're hating on those things, if you're using this victimization language, why is my life like this? If you're saying all these things, communication is so strong that it has a psychological impact on your health, on your wealth, on your mind. So you start. I think that I'm good enough in communication. Sarah, if you think you're good enough in communication, then ideally you shouldn't be listening to me at all. If you're a master, you should be transferring your skills to other people. Okay, you should be talking to other people and telling them how impactful you are, how good of a communicator you are. Because if you think this is the problem that we all have. We all think we're good enough. I still think I'm not a good communicator. I still think I need to improve. And you're here telling me that you're a good enough communicator. I'm not laughing at your skills. You may be a very well communicator. You may be very good, but tell me about the evidence. Look back at your life and see how many times you've convinced someone, how many times you've got tried to get a job or you've gotten a job, how many interviews have you been on that you've been successful at, how many relationships you've been on. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Sarah. I know you are supporting me, and I appreciate it. But I would expect you to support me by understanding what I'm saying and applying it to your life. Okay. So the type of words that you say to yourself always impact your mental stability, how you behave in your life. It actually has an impact on you. So if you have a victim mentality, your brain will perceive everything that and it'll make you lazy because you'll think everything is set up against you. So you will not work hard to change your life. You will not change your life. All right. So communicating to yourself is important as well. So so your communication is literally how you see the world that you are. Your paradigm, your whole life is built on how you communicate. Because your reality is not actually your reality. Is not the actual reality. Your reality is how you perceive your life to be, how you perceive your world to be. Okay. Anyway, so how do you get your message across in order to become an effective communicator? The question becomes, how can I improve myself? All right. So Evan Carmichael talks about these four things. He calls them HAIL, HAIL. So he says, when you're talking, what's happening? The first H is for honesty. When I talk, do I seem honest? When I'm talking to you, do I seem honest when I'm talking to you? Can you relate to me? Can you relate at the things that I'm saying to you? That's one. Two, how authentic I am. So whenever I'm talking to you, am I being genuinely authentic? Do I sound that I am being whatever I'm saying? Has that ever happened to me? Three, integrity. So obviously integrity is that whenever I'm speaking to you, how much of an impact am I leaving on you? How do you think that when I'm speaking, am I speaking with integrity? And then L, love. That obviously anything that I say to you, it's out of love. It's not out of spite. And anything that I would say to you or anybody else when you're communicating, you need to always explain to them, even to your dad, to your mom. You might have rough relationship with your parents, with your spouse, with your relationships, with your uncle, auntie, whoever. But if you speak from a place of love, if you speak from a place of love, you will have more impact on other people. You always need to speak from that. Look, you need to always start with, look, I understand where you're coming, what you're saying. I Look, I'm only saying this because I love you. I only say this because I care about you. So if you say all this ideology, if you say all of this with such conviction and in such a sweet way, you're somebody else might not have that mental block, and they might be able to listen to you better. Okay. Oh yeah, that's another point as well. So how else can you improve? You can warm up before you're going to talk. You should start speaking to yourself in the mirror. That's another way. I always use this. Practice, practice, practice. So whenever I'm going to come on this, I always imagine coming on a live and talking to you about this. I always do this because I think I would have more of an impact on you. I'd be able to have more of a I'd be able to leave more of an impact on your life, more of an effect on your life, if I'm able to be if I'm able to warm up, and if I'm able to practice what I've done before, what I've learned before. Okay. And if it's visualization, isn't it? I'm visualizing in my head what I'm going to say to you before I actually say it. You know. And then, oh yeah, story is extremely important. I mean, like us, for example, if I say to you right now, oh, the other day I went to an interview, and I sat down and I was sweating and I was really tired, and I made them. So as soon as what did I just do? I started, as soon as I started this story, I dialed you guys in. You guys started listening to me more intently, because everybody can relate to stories. Whenever I say, or one day I sat down with my dad, he was very angry. Obviously, as soon as I say this, you're starting to think straight away. You're thinking about your own father, about your own mother that you sat down with and you spoke to. So story is extremely important. So there are three aspects to stories: beginning, middle, and end. So depending on what kind of audience you're speaking to, you can increase or decrease the size of that story. So you can increase the beginning, you can increase the end, or you can increase the middle part. It depends on, completely depends on you. Now, another thing, rapport building. Rapport is an English word that basically means how much you can trust me. Okay, that's what it means. So if you've seen me like millions of times, you're able to trust me more because you know that I have spoken to you loads of times. Okay. So but if you've seen me just once, and if not, I'm not an effective communicator, there's no way you can trust me. So building rapport is also a part of communication, is also extremely important. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So what are the key things that you need to build rapport? You need to register. So whenever you're speaking, you need to register, which means that whatever I'm saying to you right now, it needs to stick to you. It needs to have an impact on you. That's the one thing. Okay. Repetitiveness. How much so register repetitive I am depends on. So if I need to repeat myself over and over again, I'm not an effective communicator. Maybe I need to try a different method. Some people learn differently. The man, long time. Hope you're well, man. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. Um, so I'm talking about communication today, how we can be more effective communicators. So I've got to the point that we need to all build rapport. Rapport is a way in which you can trust me. Because if you've seen me, you've been seeing me for the past like 2-3 weeks doing these lives. You've seen me for the past 2-3 weeks. And if you know that if for the past 2-3 weeks, I've been talking to you about various subjects that can impact you in your life and that can change your life, you need to always remember that you have built that rapport with me. You can trust me because you know that I will not bullshit you or I will not waste your time when you are listening to me right now. That's what building rapport is all about. Okay. And then so I talked about in order to building rapport, you need to register. So your tone is very important. How so if I speak to you right now, so you guys listen to me, so yeah, it was great, okay, awesome, if I start talking like this, you understand, it will not register because I am at a high pitched voice right now. I'm speaking at a different angle to you. I'm trying to dial into you. I'm trying to talk to you so it goes inside your head so you can understand what I'm trying to say to you. But if I'm talking in a very monotonic, very lackluster way of speaking, if I'm speaking in a very low register, it will not register with you. But as soon as I start saying like this, if I start saying like this, if I speak with very gentle voice. Then your attention will increase. You will start listening to me even more, because what's going to happen is, if I become silent, if I start speaking in a lower register, what starts happening is that you guys will start listening to me even more intently, because it's a sales tactic. So whenever you're about to propose something, whenever you're about to, you always lean in. You lean in like this, and then you make your point exclusive, something that is special, something that is relevant to that customer, to that person, to that human being. So it's a sales tactic that you can use. Tonality is everything. For that, actually, there's a guy called Jordan Belfort that I listen to. Probably I should probably put his. He said tonality is everything. Jordan Belfort, finish by getting sleep. Finish by getting sleep. Appearance, you need to be confident and finish by getting sleep. I don't know what you mean by that, Sarah. Could you please explain? So your register, your repetitiveness, your monotony, your pitch, your volume, all of that needs to be effective, needs to communicate really well, needs to encompass people, needs to grab people's attention. So that's why communication is extremely important skill. Oh yes, last thing. Okay, whenever you're telling a story, whenever you're trying to sell someone anything, okay, these are the five things that I've learned that you need to focus on. Five things, and I'll put these down. The first thing, what are you? What are you trying to sell? People are interested in what are you trying to tell them? What is the first thing? So start with your what. Okay, so I'll give you an example. The next part is why. Why would they be interested in that thing? Whatever you're trying to tell them, why would they be interested? Okay, so I started off that, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about communication. Why do I need to talk about it? The reason I need to talk about communication is because I know that you guys would need communication in order to become an effective communicators in your life, in order to impact your life and everybody else's life better, to improve your life and everybody else's life to a higher level. So that's another way to communicate. So that's why. How you can be an effective communicator, and I've covered those steps, and I've told you about those five things. What if you can't be an effective communicator? That's the fourth part that I need to talk to you about. If you're not an effective communicator, your life is pretty much over. You're a basic human being. Why do you even exist is the question you should be asking yourself. So that's the what if question. And last question is when. So when can I be an effective communicator? When? Now. You can impact your life right now. You can be an effective communicator now. So what, why, how, what if, when. These five things. If you encompass these five things, you can become an effective communicator. All right. I will just recap everything just for you. So 5 ways in which you can be effective communicators, which we talked about. Why do you require communication? You require communication to be clear, to have brevity, to connect with people, to have more impact, and to bring more value. So these are the 5 things, and you can bring those 5 things by doing these 5 steps. Okay, about talking about what, why, how, what if, and when. Okay, answering these 5 questions. That's all communication is. It's extremely easy, but it's a masterful skill that we don't really click on. We might hit 1 or 2 of these things, but we never hit all of it. So that's why it's very, very important for us to encompass all of this and help each other out and improve each other's lives by talking about these things. And just by doing that, we'll be able to become better at our jobs, become better at our job proposals, and our job hierarchy. In a corporate environment, in our relationships, we'll be better. We'll be able to convince other people in any sort of environment whatsoever. So you are easily able to get your things across and make your points and become an effective communicator by implementing all these things into your life, by improving yourself and going out there and having a much more impactful time. Zoya, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. Oops, sorry. Let me change that. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. So, becoming an effective communicator, I think I've made my points today. Numan, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I think that'll be it for now. I really appreciate you listening to me. After this, I will put a post on Facebook about how we can all become effective communicators, how we can impact each other's lives, how we can improve each other's lives by being able to communicate effectively. Think of the best people in the world that you know. They're all good communicators. I mean, the people we're listening to right now, especially the Pakistanis, Imran Khan, great communicator. Quick and Qaid Azam, great communicator. Every single person that we talk about, Gandhi, amazing communicator. He's able to get his point across and become and leave a lifelong impact on people's lives just by communicating really, really effectively. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. You guys have been amazing. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for listening to me. You guys have been fantastic. I can't really encompass the amount of gratitude I have for you guys. And and thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you. I'm glad that it was useful to you. And I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. We're doing the same thing over and over again. Always a pleasure, Ali. Ali, you're too kind. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, YouTube. For the very first time, I decided to do YouTube as well. And yeah, I'll see you around. Take care. Bye.